Well, to beat Indiana, these are the things I wrote in the National Magazine. You've got to fight the screen off the ball. Second, you must play Isaiah Thomas square. Don't allow him to penetrate. He's like a little destroyer. If he gets inside like a PT pole, he'll break down your defenses. Third, if 2 doesn't work, go to a zone, because Knight doesn't believe in zones, so he doesn't like facing zones. And fourth, spread them out on defense. Make it a one-on-one game against their baseline.
Next week, Al and Billy will be at the Horizon Center in Chicago. DePaul against UCLA. 4 o'clock Eastern time on NBC. Number 1 in one poll, number 2 in another. DePaul against UCLA. The Bruins ranked number 3.
And Mark Aguirre, he can foul a team out all by himself. He'll dance on your face.
Hey, Al, I want to know who's the guy that can square up and play Isaiah Thomas straight up without forcing him one side or the other. The guy is so quick with both hands. There he is. He's going to get a 5-second count. 5-second count.
It.
Nobody cut to the ball. That was exactly what happened prior to the timeout taking place. Indiana playing excellent ball defense, keeping it away from the man who's intended for the pass.
Glenn Grunwald, number 40, a 6'9" senior, that's him with the ball, has come in for the first time.
Excellent passer. Probably designed to work against his zone.
Grunwald got it to Tolbert. Tolbert couldn't put it down. Grunwald battling for the rebound, putting it back up, and it won't fall for him.
That last time out of bounds, the team wasn't set for North Carolina. The man taking the ball in should not take the ball off the official. He should bend down and fix his socks. That gives his team another second to set up. That's what happens a lot of time in the 5 count out of bounds.
Now this is primarily the big blue team with Perkins in there. Now in the first half, it got him in trouble, and here it is again.
Thomas with the steal, and he missed the bucket. Eric Kenny trailing the play, grabs the rebound, and then Grunwald fouls Kenny. What a turnaround.
When you see this over again, you'll notice that he left too soon.
Look at Bobby.
Bobby can't believe it. I have to give Eric Kenny a lot of credit.
Watch this, Bill. He left too soon. He was shooting his way down. Watch. See, he's on his way down. He had to reach, and he caught the steal, the base of the steal.
I think what happened also, Kenny has faked at him pretty well. Isaiah Thomas might have been thinking about a 3-point play opportunity there. Good play by Eric Kenny.
It remains a 3-point North Carolina lead, exactly 10 minutes to play in the ballgame.
And the big blue team is out. They were in there for about 20 seconds, one time down the court to going back with them. First team, tough pass cross court.
Al Wood driving on Grunwald. Outside to Perkins. Jimmy Black. Worthy. Makes his move, and the shot. The rebound to Randy Whitman. They can cut it to 1 with a basket here.
Tolbert has altered every shot Worthy has tried to put up.
Thomas guarded by Black.
There he goes.
Isaiah makes it a 1-point game.
Yeah, Turner started to move out of there, left the 1-on-1 on the strong side there, and Isaiah took him to school.
16 for Thomas. He's the game's top scorer. 9:14 to play.
Watch out, Black. You go, Jimmy Black. You go around Isaiah, too, with the ball.
Stamina is going to play an important role. Nice back door.
Al Wood.
Boy, protected it out. And there you saw Al Wood with a great shot. Dean Smith wanting the foul. Wanting the foul.
Great move.
Grunwald.
1-3-1 zone defense again.
Whitman finding Turner on the baseline, then back to the point for Thomas. Grunwald from the side. His first basket, and again, it's a 1-point game, 47-46 with 8:38.
Both teams are playing good basketball, well coached. Indiana's got good balance out there. On the perimeter, they stay about 15 feet away from each other.
That was an excellent pass. Perkins wasn't ready for it. Should be a jump ball.
It is.
You know, you mentioned, Bob, Grunwald. When he was a rising senior in high school, he was considered the #1 high school prospect in the country. And then, of course, he had that serious knee injury, and it's taken an awful lot away. But he may become the first player in the history of IU to earn 5 letters in a sport. Bobby Knight gave him a letter the year that he was unable to participate, but stayed at every practice and worked with the team.
You know he had 2 operations on his knee.
I know it's been quite a problem, and he's a courageous guy and may even be a Rhodes Scholar. So a quality person, obviously.
Yeah, he's going to law school.
Perkins with those arms like gasoline hoses gets the tip. But the loose ball winds up in the hands of Whitman.
Good D by Landon Turner that time.
Indiana can take the lead back.
Perkins going to learn a lot from this game.
Tolbert with the slam, and the Hoosiers are up 48-47.
Got ourselves a nice game. There's 8:08 left.
What Perkins is going to learn, and playing against great defensive people like he's seeing today, you have to come to that ball. Those long arms get you in trouble if you're just going to reach.
Budko out high. Pepper in the corner. Worthy in the lane.
Great defense.
Budko from 18.
He doesn't take that shot often.
Thomas grabbed the rebound. He gets a lot of rebounds for a guy who's barely over 6 feet tall.
North Carolina back man-to-man now. Isaiah Thomas recognizes, pulls everybody out, gets in that motion.
7.5 minutes to play.
Now they're starting to get, excuse me, Bob, now they're starting to get movement on the weak side of the court.
Thomas from the dead corner. North Carolina now with a chance to go in front. Al Wood driving, pull up on Whitman. He fouled him, and Wood will come to the line.
The North Carolina players are very tired. They normally have that signal of raising the fist when they want to come out. Perkins asking to come out right now, and Dean Smith would rather not see him now.
Well, I don't think he has anyone really to put in with
right.
Matt Doherty injured with a broken thumb.
Here's Wood pulling up for that jumper, and there you see, right on the elbow. Great place to get a guy if he can get just a little piece, because if he can't keep that elbow straight, he can't put the shot in. Here comes Perkins out. He really needs the rest.
And back in is Chris Brust, 6'8.5" junior from Babylon, New York. Tied at 48 with 7:19 left. Wood has scored 15, most of them in the second half. His total is now 16. Timeout, and as we ride the seesaw, it's North Carolina's turn to hold the advantage. The Tar Heels 49, the Hoosiers 48, 7:19 left. Coming back to Chapel Hill in a moment. Thursday night, 8 Eastern time, a special Christmas evening edition of Games People Play, the funniest and the finest moments of an entire year of programming, featuring the stunt of the week, the spirit of man, the bouncers, all your Games People Play favorites this Thursday night at 8 Eastern time on NBC. And of course, there's football coverage 12:30 Eastern time tomorrow with Bryant Gumbel and NFL 80. Final weekend of the regular season. Isaiah Thomas, Indiana, in front by 1 at 50-49.
Nice. They spread them out that time. They beat the jump switch on Dean Smith. Had a man open underneath. Man played the guy underneath, so Isaiah had the 12-footer.
Thomas has 18. Wood has 16 for North Carolina. They are the game's high scorers. This is Wood with the ball for the Tar Heels, out to Worthy.
Now the ball stays in the Stars' hand. Wood will take the shot of Worthy.
Worthy with it. Been hitting better than 55% from the field since the opening game of the season. He has not shot that well today.
We're seeing some great defense out here right now.
Budko was fouled by Isaiah Thomas as he released the pass to Jimmy Black.
Isaiah hooked him, reached behind.
Both of these teams are really going to have to reach down. You know, and Bob, I know you're going to be doing the Big Ten this year. You're going to see so many great games. There are about 6 teams in that league that I think certainly are among the best 20 or 25 in the country. This league is going to have probably 5 teams that are going to be of that caliber. So both of these teams are learning right now whether they can reach down and pull out that something extra that's necessary to win championships.
Well, they're playing belly button defense here.
Pepper bobbled it, but batted it to Black. Down low, Budko, the turnaround, big bucket by Pete Budko.
Ooh, I was surprised he took that shot.
Well,
Billy.
I was surprised he took the jumper before that one. Now North Carolina back, playing that zone again.
Grunwald with it.
Bobby Knight doing a good job with Grunwald in the ball game because he's such a good passer against the zone.
Talbert, Turner, Grunwald, Thomas, and Whitman. Black, Pepper, Budko, Worthy, and Wood. Grunwald is open, won't shoot. Baseline Turner, then he gets it back. 5:45 to play in the game. 51-50 North Carolina.
Well, what you're looking for here now is to get a shot at the top of the key or from flat in the corners. You don't want those angle shots.
Notice that zone is not very aggressive. North Carolina almost trying to rest a little bit on defense.
There it
that
is.
normally gets you in trouble.
Whitman from 18.
There it is. He's an unbelievable shooter. Well, he's starting to shoot now. I'm kind of beating a dead horse to death, saying he doesn't shoot enough. But
you know, he's a little slow gathering himself up to get that shot off. But other than that, he does have the good touch.
Whitman has scored 6. Indiana by 1. Jimmy Black guarded by Isaiah Thomas.
Wood's got him inside.
Black with the move on Thomas, the penetration, and a foul on the play.
boy, he did a lot of disco moving in there. moving his hips, moving his arms back and forth. He created that foul.
Let's make a correction on the UCLA DePaul game next week from Chicago. 2 Eastern time, not 4 Eastern time. You tune in at 4, it's over. 2 o'clock Eastern time on NBC next Saturday.
You don't want to miss that game next week. DePaul against UCLA will probably be, to this date, the best college basketball game in America.
Black, normally a pretty good foul shooter, shooting over 70%. He's the guy that Dean Smith would like to have on the line.
Jimmy Black, slender junior from the Bronx, ties the game at 52 with 4:58 left.
North Carolina picking up now 2/3 of the court.
It's like a trap being set up,
they're looking for a trap. Whitman recognized it well.
Perkins reaches out with the long arms and intercepts the pass, and North Carolina has a chance to regain the lead.
Isaiah had no zip in his pass that time.
Bobby Knight's irate over that play.
Al Wood, and North Carolina has the lead. The basket counts. The foul comes after the shot.
Al, I'm going to ask you something. Bobby Knight was really hot at Isaiah for throwing that pass, but now can you calm your temper down enough to know that you got to win that ball game with Isaiah in there?
Now, here's what happens. In coaching, you can be verbal and physical with your ball players, but when it gets down to the last 4 minutes, you must hug your players because they're only 18, 19, 20, 21 years of age. They need a leader at the very end. I believe the first 36 minutes you can be obnoxious to them, surly towards them, but at the end you must embrace them.
The basket by Wood gave him 18 points, gave North Carolina the 2-point lead. The foul on him was his second, and it's the 15th foul in the half on North Carolina. The foul came after the shot, so the basket counts. Indiana loose ball. Here they come. Jimmy Black racing down with Whitman, and Black gives North Carolina a 4-point lead.
Well, that was a big break for North Carolina because Indiana had the rebound.
This is the basket. They must come up with a foul shot of a basket right here. They must have patience. There's a lifetime left. There's 4 minutes.
If they don't score here, Al, they're going to look at the delay, won't they?
I think you might see the 4 corners.
Oh, big block.
Blocked. Grunwald has it.
He got fouled.
Whose ball? North Carolina.
You might. What do you think, Bill? Do you want to see the 4 corners?
Well, he might use the 4 corners to rest his team a little bit. Jimmy Black playing a great ball game here. Whitman came down, little hesitation. Excellent play. There's a timeout on the court. We're going to see some major strategy taking place right now.
Good timeout call by Bobby Knight because he knows that Dean is going to change his defense.
3:55 remaining. 56-52 North Carolina. All the numbers you need. North Carolina with the lead. They'll have the ball and less than 4 minutes left.
And a bumper sticker today riding over here to the arena. It said, if God is not a Tar Heel, why is the sky Carolina blue? Ooh. Oh. That's what you go through all the time down here, Billy.
That's right. There's Bobby Knight. Still a little bit disgusted with Isaiah Thomas, who's sitting over there, 1 man removed from him down on the bench. Jim Thomas in the ball game. What do you think, Al? They're going to go 4 corners?
Yeah, I think you'll see not as much of a freeze tactic as a delay tactic where they're going to look to get some fouls and pick up the chippy shot.
They didn't show it right away. It's 4 corners.
Thomas is on Black.
The only thing, the 4 corners was great because of Phil Ford.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Phil Ford, the 4 corners, or 4 corners make Phil Ford.
It was a push.
Uh-oh, and there's the play.
Went right through Worthy's hands, and a big break for Indiana on the turnover. A basket here, and they get within 2.
And Carolina's a man-to-man.
Ooh, Thomas almost lost it.
That's Jim Thomas, not Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah is out
did
the
lose
lineup. They do lose it. Pepper to the floor to try and keep it alive. Gets it to Al Wood. Ball still loose. White Pepper has it. Perkins is ahead. And Perkins was fouled by Whitman.
So Bobby Knight was said to be very discouraged with his ball club on not getting a lot of team rebound. He's got to come back with Isaiah Thomas, and here he comes into the game right now.
Isaiah has to be there. He's the catalyst. He's the glue that holds together. He's the guy that can bust it open.
There's Jim Thomas losing the ball. Everybody loses the handle. Then the long pass by Pepper down to Perkins. Whitman did the smart thing because Perkins in a position to slam that one.
Indiana is now over the foul limit. Perkins, the freshman, at the line. 67% man, but off the miss. Although he doesn't get the bonus, they do get something more important, and that's the ball.
He had no trajectory on the shot. That's why it came out so far after he missed it on the back rim.
That was a tap back by Al Wood, who's really been tough here in the second half.
Al, what's the defensive key against the four corners should they go to it?
Not to let your baseman be vulnerable to the back door. That's the key.
Good pass off that time by Worthy, who made the break down through the middle.
A 6-point Tar Heel lead.
Oh, the long arm.
Pepper with the steal. 2-on-1.
Walk. Yes, he did. Walk. Hank Nichols made the call, and he's absolutely right. Dean Smith didn't like it, but it was a walk.
Dean, he took 3 giant steps. He's only allowed 1.5. 1 small one and 1 large one.
That could have been curtains right there.
Yeah,
We'll see the play.
1, 2, 3.5. Boom.
Timeout with 2 minutes and 24 seconds remaining in the game. Indiana ball, but they face an uphill climb. They trail it 58-52.
On NBC Sports World, see the strength of World Cup powerlifting. Then power and tradition clash in the sport of sumo wrestling. Plus World Ice Speedway Motorcycle Championships next Saturday.
There's the lineup for this coming Saturday on Sports World, 4 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC.
North Carolina changed their defense into the trap, which is kind of surprising for Indiana, but they handle it well. They change the defenses many times when they go to a timeout.
Isaiah Thomas.
Every time up.
There's a foul.
Isaiah Thomas fouled Jimmy Black.
You know, it's really a lot of pressure on a ball handler playing out point to get somebody as quick as Thomas when all his players have run away from him. He's got to protect that ball. Has those dancing eyes, doesn't he? Loves to play.
The Hoosiers are over the limit. Black comes to the line for a 1-and-1, and how well North Carolina shoots fouls in the last minute 58 may tell the tale.
As we said earlier, Jimmy's a good foul shooter, especially under clutch situations.
And for all of our fans watching their first game this year, remember that you can break the plane once the ball is removed from the shooter's hand. So watch these fellas going in there for the rebound.
Gets the roll, North Carolina by half a dozen again.
Those were 2 Al McGuire cry-ins.
Yeah, he got a crier.
Back to the zone now. One time down the court, they were in the trap, and they went back to the zone.
Landon Turner blocked by James Worthy, but Turner gets it back.
Bad pass.
Terrible.
Nobody came to the ball again to meet it.
Fans smell it now. They think they got a victory, but it's a lot of time left, 1.5 minutes.
Jimmy Black inside.
Oh, what a
they
play.
get the bucket to Sam Perkins.
Sam the man.
Hoosiers in a desperate situation. Thomas from 20 won't go. Eisenbarger the rebound. Pepper knocked it away, and a foul on Mike Pepper of North Carolina. 62-54, North Carolina up by 8.
You know, talking about the MVP out here, Bob and Al, I think Jimmy Black is the guy that's going to get my vote. It's a tough day today.
Yeah, he busted him out there the second half. He's kind of the leader of the club. He's the senior out there that plays the most time. I go along with you, Billy. How about you, Bob?
Who am I to disagree with you guys? Thomas from 22. Eisenbarger make it Whitman the rebound, and the follow, he got it.
Oh, a nice hustle. Still time left to go. 1:05. Al, here's where that clock is more important than getting any more points on the board.
Well, I think they got a foul right away. They can't even fool around now. I fouled the freshman underneath. He even gave him 2 shots intentionally.
Worthy with it. I'm not going to disagree with the selection of Black, but I'll tell you, this kid with the ball right here, Mike Pepper, made an important contribution.
First half especially, he came in with 9 points the first half. You got a foul. Hey, fellas, you got a foul.
39 seconds.
Al Wood out to Pepper near the midcourt line.
Here's where they make a mistake. Here's your foul intentionally.
Yeah, they got to stop the clock right now.
Pepper gets it. 6 seconds remaining, and a 62-56 North Carolina lead.
Bobby, we said before this game that there's an awful lot on the line. Great teams, great coaches. Now you see that ACC people hollering in the Big Ten. It's quite a battle.
The most valuable player for today's game is Jimmy Black. from the University of North Carolina. Chevrolet will donate a $1,000 check to the General Scholarship Fund at North Carolina in the name of Jimmy Black. This money will be used to assist students in furthering their chosen academic fields of interest. Bobby Knight can't do anything about it now. The free throw is good. It's 63-56, and the bonus is coming for Perkins.
Well, he lost to three great teams, Kentucky, Notre Dame, and now it looks like he's going to lose to North Carolina.
And he's still got that whole Big Ten schedule to
Here's
go
Al
through.
Wood with a tap back again. That's 2 times, 2 key tap backs.
20 seconds. North Carolina will be 7-1. Indiana will be 5-3. A Hoosier foul.
This is the time you feel that coaching really is saying, oh, what am I doing in the business? On the other end, of course, Dean is sky high. He won't show it, but it's a big win for him. He beat Indiana last year up at Bloomington. They beat him by about 8 points, and he built.
I think it's a little closer than that.
Two masters, grand masters of basketball coaching, Dean Smith and Bobby Knight.
Isaiah Thomas checks out now. Glenn Grunwald has come back in, so has Jim Thomas, and Tony Brown, number 31, makes his first appearance. Jimmy Black, our MVP, goes to the free throw line for a 1-1.
And Bob, we saw in the first half, Dean Smith went to that bench. He went to it early, and as Al pointed out, I think so well there during halftime about that big blue team. Could have been a big blue blowout. In the second half, he used them for about 20 seconds, and they hadn't been back in there. But that's his system. Been successful for him.
Yeah, but he can't do it this year. They're just
I don't
not
think
there.
so
He just
either.
put him in for 20 seconds once, about 2 minutes the other time. I'm looking forward to next Saturday. Game at Chicago. Number 1 ranked team in the nation, in my opinion, the Paul Blue Demons, taking on Larry Brown, UCLA Bruins.
2 o'clock Eastern time on NBC next Saturday, DePaul and UCLA. A rebound to James Worthy, and the clock running out. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. North Carolina has won it. Well, they may have stopped the clock with 1 second to go. I think they're saying that the ball came over the end line with 1 second to go, and they got to put it back in play.
They might have said it was a 10-second call. Bobby Knight says he wants to leave, but if there's 1 second to play, the referee's going to put that ball in play.
Yeah, they got to play.
So Whitman will throw it in, and that's the ball game.
Bobby Knight congratulating the North Carolina players, showing a lot of class there. He's quite a coach, and that team will be in the thick of things nationally and in the Big Ten. You can believe it.
Billy, I'm surprised they played the game here rather than in Greensboro. Now, this is really a tremendous advantage playing at Carmichael Hall.
I think that's what Dean Smith was looking for.
To get to play here rather than Greensboro?
Well, certainly. He wants to play them on his own court.
We'll come back to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and have some post-game activities in just a minute. There's your final: North Carolina 65, Indiana 56.
College basketball's best battle it out as All-American Mark Aguirre leads number 1 DePaul against Larry Brown and the second-ranked UCLA Bruins. Then it's a special holiday edition of NBC Sports World. See
In Chapel Hill, Bob Costas along with Al McGuire and Billy Packer. Billy has gone down to the floor, Al, and will try and get Dean Smith or someone else for some post-game interviews. North Carolina trailed it by 6 at halftime, 30-24, and Indiana was in control. They had shot 54% from the field in the first 20 minutes. North Carolina, meanwhile, was under 39%. Worthy and Wood were not connecting, but in the second half, the Tar Heels turned it around.
Well, what happened is that Indiana never truly solved the multiple defenses. Dean was throwing 5 or 6 defenses at them. It took the wind out of their sails. And also, Isaiah Thomas never got off the dime. He was pulled and sat down about, I think, 3 or 4 times during the game. It looks to me like Isaiah is not as bouncy as he was last year. And I said it twice during the program. Maybe this kid has seen too much basketball. Maybe he needs a rest, and he might get it in Hawaii during their tournament over there.
The scorebook will show him with 20 points, possibly 22. We haven't got the official final stats yet, but it wasn't an Isaiah Thomas type game.
No, well, you don't take Isaiah Thomas out of the game 4 times, and obviously Coach Knight has seen certain things that he did not agree with. And when you take out your, your ace in the hole, the team loses a little bit of its go. I also think that Randy Whitman has to really come out thinking positive, trying to blow the ball into the hoop instead of doing it hesitantly each time. Indiana's a good ball club. I picked them number 2 in the Big Ten. I still feel Ohio State, the Buckeyes from Ohio State, will win the Big Ten. They're going to get a lot of pressure from Minnesota, Illinois, and of course Iowa. Iowa has everyone back with the exception of the Lester, Ronnie Lester, who got hurt last year in the finals. I thought maybe if Ronnie Lester did not get hurt in the finals in Indianapolis, that they might have been a national champs in 1980.
Now let's go down courtside at Carmichael Auditorium and join Billy Packer. Bill?
Thanks a lot, Bob, and we've got two fellas here that have to feel real good about this ball game. Jimmy, first of all, congratulations to you. You were the MVP going up against one of the top point guards of all time in college ball. You came out pretty well today.
Well, thank you. You know, I just went out and played my game, and I'm glad that we won.
Played super, and Al, you had that great second half. It looked like you were so positive the second half on your jump shot. A little tentative the first half, but you were coming out there fighting the second half.
Well, that's it. The first half, I was a little tight. Coach told me to relax and wait till my shot get there, and that's what I started doing the second half. Just wait till the shot get to me, and when it got to me, I just knocked it in.
You know, I've, of course, seen you fellas play so much, and I know over the course of the years, you're supposed to give this signal when you're tired. Now, this year, the bench is not so deep at North Carolina. I didn't see anybody raise their hand. What's going on?
Well, we gave the tired signal. You know, we have confidence in our younger players. And once we get tired, we'll just let Coach know, and he'll substitute freely. So.
Well, most of you fellas went the full distance, though, in the second half.
Well, yeah, when you get in a tight game like this, when you start running up and down the court, you don't think about getting tired. You just want to win.
Let me ask you, Jim, in your pregame plan for playing against an Indiana, it looked like you started out playing so many different defenses. Is that something that you fellas over the course of time get used to doing, to be able to switch from one defense to the other?
Oh, yeah, we practice on it every day, and it's something that you get used to. It becomes a habit. And I think all the players know the defenses fairly well. And we just try to go out and execute.
Who calls the defense? Is it called when the other team starts bringing it up the court, or do you know automatically by number or situation to change?
Well, it depends on the signal that the quarterback gives, and that varies from game to game.
Al, offensively today in the first half particularly, we were watching Ray Tolbert, thought he did one of the best jobs I've seen in a long, long time on James Worthy. Is he one of the better defensive players you've played against?
Yeah, he's real strong, and James is real strong. Ray is also real strong, and they was battling each other, and they're real tough. And the referee was letting them play. That was the main thing. There was a lot of contact inside, and they let them play. First half, Ray may have got the best of James, but I think James came on the second half and started taking it to the hoop the way James Worthy can do, and that's what's different in the game.
How about the four corners? Al and McGuire and I were up there kind of goofing off with each other, saying, when are they going to go to it? Did you expect it to come when it did?
Well, once we get a nice lead and we feel pretty comfortable, then we'll go to four corners and try to hold the ball a little while. And we went to it with 4 minutes to play, and that's about the normal time for us.
Neither one of you tired?
Well, you know, a big game like this, you don't, like I said before, you don't think about getting tired. You just feel so good to win.
Congratulations to both of you. Bob and Al, take it upstairs, and we'll be back down here in a second or two.
Okay, thanks a lot, Billy. It is plenty warm up here in the booth, and the Tar Heels really heated it up in the second half for their fans at Carmichael.
Well, I think what happened at the end of the third quarter, start of the fourth quarter, the sixth man got involved in the game, which is the fans here. They had 10,000 blue fans really rooting for them, and they got going, they got accelerated, and that was it. They ended up really starting to blow out Indiana at the end.
We'll have more from Chapel Hill in a minute. For now, that's it with the final score. Indiana taking it over North Carolina. We'll be back right after these messages.
With Don Shane, tomorrow night at 11:30.
A moment ago, as we broke away for the station break, I believe I might have said Indiana over North Carolina. In any event, there's a lynching party which is forming here at Carmichael Auditorium. So the final score, for those of you who may have just joined us, North Carolina 65, Indiana 56. And now Dean Smith racks up another victory over a Big Ten club. He's 6-0 in recent years against tough Big Ten opponents, including 2 straight over Indiana. And 2 years ago, he beat Michigan State in the Spartans championship year.
I still believe that the style of play, the Big Ten is more on strength and muscle and pushing and shoving, where the ACC is more of a finesse league, where they work normally with a quicker whistle, where the Big Ten have a slower whistle from the officials. I thought in today's game, the key in the first half that kept him in the game was the kid Mike Pepper. I never expected him to come up with 9 points. I don't think Dean Smith expected that either. It gave James Worthy and it gave Al Wood a chance to come around. When they came around the second half, obviously they were on all burners, and they just broke through the sound barrier. They beat a great team in Indiana, but you're going to hear a lot from Indiana. Come the end of the year, they'll be probably in the top 10 in the nation, and they're definitely both going to be in the NCAA. I don't know if either one of these teams will get to Philadelphia and a chance to ring the Liberty Bell.
Let's go down on the court once again and join Billy Packer. Bill?
Thanks, Bob and Al. Dean, last night we had dinner, and your friend, Mr. McGuire, was there. He just went through that rendition again about the physical play of the Big Ten and the finesse of the ACC. You want to, now, this is your opportunity. You can go after him.
I don't think any league plays the same way. I think every team plays differently, and I think Indiana and North Carolina play very similarly. We all started the passing game. We started back in the 60s. Bobby came down here in '72, and he said he wanted to put in the passing game, and now they execute it better than we do. I think they do a very good job, but we believe in pressure defense, and I think Indiana and North Carolina are more similar than, say, Indiana to another Big Ten team or North Carolina to another ACC team. I don't think you can talk in terms of conferences. Each school has a different coach, and they tend to do what the coach wants them to do.
You know, we talked earlier also about Matt Doherty's loss, and you thought that'd make you kind of weak today from a standpoint of coming in the bench, but the guys that came in played well, and of course you got the great game out of Pepper.
Well, I thought we played a great second half offensively, a great first half defensively. Pepper played extremely well. Mike, as a senior, is getting his chance, and especially with Doherty out, he played more minutes, and I thought he did well. Jimmy Black, I thought, did a super job. And you have to talk about that front line, too. You know, Butko, Worthy, and Perkins, I think, held their own with Tolbert and Turner, and they're two of the best. And then Al Woods, an All-American in my book, and he started getting his shot the second half. But you have to have patience against Indiana. They do a great job defensively, and we had better patience the second half. The key, I think, was when we got Perkins came up with a steal out of the zone press, and we got another one out of the zone press, got the lead, and could spread them out a little bit and let Worthy drive, because Worthy's a 6'8", 6'9" guard if we wanted to make him one.
You know, Al Wood talked. He said that he was a little bit hesitant in the first half of the ballgame. You told him that. He said that you told him to relax a little bit and just take it easy. We
looked like we had a 5-second clock out there. We had to shoot within 5 seconds. I think this team is so inexperienced. We lost 5 of our first 7. They wanted to prove they belong, and they wanted to do it in a hurry. And Indiana, I thought, made us look very bad the first half in our offense. But in the second half, we got the ball inside, and Al hit his outside shots. And I'm very happy with the team, but, you know, our schedule, it doesn't get any easier.
No let-ups.
We got Rutgers Monday night. I think Rutgers is one of the best teams in the country. And then Louisville. And
we saw them last week.
Yeah,
Louisville's got one of the best physical teams
I'd like for you to talk to the players, Billy. I hope
we would. We would like to get to them. Congratulations on your ball game. And Bob and Al, we'll run back upstairs to you, and then we'll come back down here and talk to some more of these victorious North Carolina players.
All right, thanks very much, Billy. And before we get back to that, we might as well look ahead to next week. We have a few minutes here to talk about that, Al. DePaul and UCLA. We looked at Al's coaching keys for defeating Indiana. I don't know whether Dean Smith followed them to your satisfaction, but one way or another, he came out with the win. What are Larry Brown's coaching keys to beating DePaul and Ray Meyer's coaching keys to beating UCLA?
Well, first of all, I think in beating DePaul, which I believe is a ton the best as far as the #1 team in the country, I think you got to keep the ball out of Bradshaw's hands. He's the glue that makes the team go. He sets up the rhythms offensively and defensively. #2, you cannot let Mark Aguirre set up down in the blocks. You got to keep him out of the paint. If you let him get the ball in there, he'll put your whole team into foul trouble. #3, I believe you got to let Cummins and Grubbs shoot from the outside. At least prove they can hit the perimeter shot. And #4, I forget what I said. I did pretty good remembering 3.
Well, maybe Larry Brown's got a 4th rule of his own.
Well, I think it's going to be an exciting game because obviously Larry Brown and UCLA is quicker than DePaul. So they'll try to make a track meet out of it. They get a freshman out of there called Crackerjack Jackson that's supposedly the greatest thing since sliced bread. I haven't seen him play. They got another great freshman out there named Fields. So they're going to come at you quick on quick, where Coach Meyer is going to try to set back, keep the game into a 47-foot game rather than the 94 feet. 94 is all over the court. That's what the Bruins will want to do. DePaul will want to play on 47 feet, off the shoulder, block and tackle a la Vince Lombardi.
More from Chapel Hill when we come back in a minute.
Chevrolet announces America's lowest priced full-size diesel-equipped sedan, Chevrolet Impala. Look at these mileage numbers. Now that's better fuel economy than some smaller foreign cars. And you get the economy of lower-priced diesel fuel. You get incredible cruising range estimates like these, all with roomy, full-size comfort. So get up ahead with America's lowest price full-size sedan or coupe, the 81 Chevy Impala, now with available diesel economy.
North Carolina overcame a 6-point halftime deficit, and they were down by more than that during the first half. They come back and win by 9, 65-56 over Indiana. The record now for the Tar Heels is 7-1, and for the Hoosiers 5-3, but their 3 losses, no disgrace. North Carolina, Kentucky, and Notre Dame. Bob Costas with Al McGuire will come back up here to the booth and get more of Al's impressions on today's game in a minute. But right now, back courtside, and Billy Packer. Bill?
Well, I have 3 with me right here, Pepper, Budko, and Kenny. 3 fellas that in their career at the University of North Carolina have an opportunity to play on the big blue team. Now, I have never totally understood the concept, but you fellas have worked your way from the big blue team up to starting ranks, 2 of you. How about explaining to me how it works, what the concept is, and how the fellas undertake to be part of that squad?
Well, the blue team, its main purpose is to give the starters a rest. And another thing is their job is to go out there and usually play its own defense, but really hustle, try and make the opponents really work hard to get a shot, and then go down on offense and really move, work the ball, and try and get a good shot offensively.
Pete, when you were, of course, a high school player, you're from this general area, saw a lot of Carolina games on TV, and some of the players, when you first came here as a player, did you understand, or they tell you what's expected of you in that role?
I don't know what to expect. I mean, you come in here, these guys playing now against Indiana, and, you know, they come in on the blue team, and it gives them all a chance to play against the real big-name teams, you know, not just maybe get in at the end of a game, but they get in right in the thick of the game, and they really get that game experience that you need later on.
Eric, is there some kind of a pride that's instilled, knowing that a group of fellas are going in at a given time in a ball game and have a role to undertake?
Sure, you get the exposure in the game, the experience, and you know that you have to be ready and you'll be called on any time.
Do you know that you're going to go in at a certain time in the course of a game, or is it just something that Dean Smith will do sometime in the first half without any warning?
Well, it's somewhere usually around 12 to 8 minutes. In that 4-minute time slot, he'll put us in for about 2 minutes in the first half.
How about that? I can remember the years back when it first started. It seemed to be some pride in the fans, the guys on campus and gals on campus sort of started to have a little pride there. Is there a special significance that's attached to the student body, the guys that are on that squad?
I think so. I think there's even a bumper sticker out about the blue team.
Is that right? Can we repeat it on TV?
No, I'm not exactly
Al's
sure
big
how
on
it goes.
bumper stickers, so we can.
Carolina has super subs. That's
That's it.
Pete, now you're in the starting lineup, of course, doing an excellent job, particularly with your shot blocking ability, getting the ball out. Today, though, you surprised me with that long jumper from about 15 feet with maybe 6 minutes to go, and then you hit a shorter one.
Well, you know, I just started getting back into playing. I was out for a long time, and I'd hurt a lot of my time in the most. And, you know, one of the things I did retain was the shot blocking because, you know, as long as you're going to be out, you're not going to lose your jumping ability. And, you know, I just got to get that confidence back in that jumper and just take it when I have it open.
The schedule hasn't been easy for you fellas, but of course you've played against teams of nationally ranked type clubs, Arkansas from the Southwest Conference, Georgetown, of course, now Indiana. The ACC won't be easy pickings for you either, will it?
No, sir. We start that, I believe, Maryland, the first ACC game after our Christmas tournament, and we'll be looking forward to that.
Well, we'll take it back upstairs. 3 fellas that are certainly very excited about their win today. Big win for the University of North Carolina.
Okay, thank you, Billy. We're going to return to Chapel Hill with more in just a bit, but there was a football game this afternoon at the Orange Bowl in Miami, the Jets and the Dolphins. For highlights of that one, let's go to Bryant Gumbel. Bryant? The final in Chapel Hill, North Carolina 65, Indiana 56. We'll come back with Al McGuire and Billy Packer in just a minute. With Al McGuire at Carmichael Auditorium in Chapel Hill. North Carolina, the winner over Indiana, 65-56, and we'll have more time in a moment to take a look fully at the complete game statistics, but the one that interests me, North Carolina was shooting less than 39% at the end of the first half. They hit 70% in the second half and wound up 52 for the game.
That's outstanding shooting. But the key statistic, I believe, that Indiana had 21 rebounds and the Tar Heels 35. There's no reason for that. The key to it was they were getting inside position, and also they got a couple of three-point plays because of the inside position. Indiana should not be out-rebounded by that many points by any team in the country.
Isaiah Thomas scored 20 points. He shot well, 10 of 19. He had 3 steals, but he had 6 turnovers against only 2 assists.
Well, he was erratic today. Bobby Knight pulled him out 2 or 3 times, sat him down next to him. I just don't think he's perking. I just don't think he's on his game, and it'll come. He's too great of a ball player. He's definitely first-team All-American, but it looks like he's penetrating into the air too soon and getting caught on charges and getting hung up there, not knowing whether to pass or to shoot. When you go into the air, the first thing you should do is look to shoot. The second thing you do is to pass.
Let's go back down to the floor, and here's Billy Packer again. Bill?
Thanks, Bob. There's no question who this man right here is the father of. I've never seen 2 better-looking pair of bookend forwards. A power forward, Mr. James Worthy. Your son played quite a game today.
Thank you, thank you. They needed to win this one real bad, I think, and they done good in the second half.
James, how about Ray Talbot as a defensive player on you?
Without a doubt, he's the greatest defensive player I've ever played against. As far as playing the post defense, he's strong. He's a quick leaper, and, you know, it's hard to get your shot off against him. You got to think to play against him, and, you know, it's been experience playing against him for the last 2 years.
How about the shot that about 6-7 minutes into the game you hadn't hit one because his hand been right up there in your face most of the time? You put one off the glass. Was that the accidental or on purpose?
Well, in a way, it was accidental, but I've been practicing that off the glass shot from the middle. I didn't intend to shoot that one off the glass. I just wanted to get a little arch on to get it over his hand, and consequently, it went off the backboard.
I think Al and I gave you credit for doing that on purpose, so we better not tell anybody. You two fellas look so much alike. Mr. Worthy, I've met you some time ago. It seems like you never age. What does it feel like having a boy like this that's doing so well for himself at such an early age?
Well, I'm just thankful that the Lord has blessed him with the talent he has, and it makes me to see the blessing that he's given me and my family. And he's just one of 3 that we have.
Some more coming along like this?
No, we already have 2 other sons, and we're proud of all our children, plus 3 grandchildren.
Well, that's great. It was a fine ball game, again, by James Worthy, a power forward, supreme inside for North Carolina. And, Bob, we'll take it back up to you upstairs before we get some more of these fine players in here.
Billy, thanks very much. Let's take a look at the final scoring for North Carolina. Al Wood had 18 points. He was 1 of 6 in the first half. He made 6 of 7. In the second half, Al, he winds up with 18.
He's a pure shoot. He busted out of the gate good the second half. He deserved the MVP.
But we gave it to Jimmy Black.
No, we didn't. I thought we gave it to Al Wood.
Hey, you want to give 2? I don't know. It's not my money, but we gave it to Jimmy Black. You know what I mean?
Jimmy Black played a good game. He kind of neutralized Isaiah, but I thought we gave it to Al Wood. I'm sorry.
Well, I'll tell you what. Maybe you'll let him keep the trophy in his room in the dormitory for half the year, okay? We got Worthy with 10 for North Carolina. Budko had 6. Pepper scored 9. Black, the MVP, came up with 11 points, and he also had 6 assists in the ballgame for North Carolina. 11 for Perkins, the freshman center. Several other players played but did not score. For Indiana, Kitchell started hot, cooled off just a bit. He hit his first 4 shots, missed his last 2, wound up with 10 points. Tolbert had 8, and so did Turner, and they expect more from those guys.
Yeah, they're both on the inside. They played 37, 38 minutes. Now, Tolbert played 40 and Turner played 39. They got to have more point production than a combined 16. They got to get together for about 30 points each game if they expect to be in the NCAA come March.
Randy Whitman had 8 for the Hoosiers. Isaiah Thomas was the game's high man with 20 and 2 points for Glenn Grunwald. We were mentioning while Billy was down on the floor, we were talking amongst ourselves about the expanded NCAA field and about how as many as 40 teams, in your opinion, have a chance to go all the way to Philadelphia and emerge number 1.
Well, what's happening now in college basketball the last 7, 8, 9 years, with the freshman rule coming in, a lot of kids want to play right away. They don't want to come and sit a year and wait to get out there. So when they don't go to the so-called Big 20 schools in the country, they'll go to another school where they can play immediately. The second reason why there's so much talent throughout the country is that the so-called dynasties cannot stockpile. You only allowed 13 scholarships now, and you have to give them out over the 4 years. Where years ago, you give out 20 scholarships, and you could stockpile kids. So now it's anyone's ball game. If injuries stay away at the end of the year, there are about 40 teams that could win the NCAA.
Al, we'll see you next week in Chicago for a great one. DePaul and UCLA.
It's going to be a super game. I hope we don't have this much film next week.
For Al McGuire and Billy Packer, I'm Bob Costas. The final score, North Carolina 65, Indiana 56. The executive producer of NBC's basketball is Don Ohlmeyer. Coordinating producer, George Finkel. The telecast of today's game has been produced by Kenneth Edmondson. Directed by Harry Coyle. Technical director, Lenny Stucker. Associate producer, Bill Peters. Associate director, John Filippelli. don't forget, tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time, it's NFL 80 with host Bryant Gumbel. Get an inside look on the NFL and all the playoff possibilities. Then most of you will see the fierce cross-state rivalry between the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. At stake for the Browns, the AFC Central Division crown. That and much more tomorrow on NBC Sports.
This has been a presentation of NBC Sports. We're proud to bring you the best in sports television.
Sunday on Chips, a mad driver